Alright, everybody. This is it. We're in the final shape now. So, as you guys can see, I'm downloading the final shape DLC right now. It's 29.2 gigabytes. That's not what the video is about. We're going to be ranking every DLC in the downtime. I'll be doing every single season, talk about every single season in DLC in this video, talking about my favorites. Now, obviously, I know I haven't been around for a long time. You guys, I don't have many Destiny videos on my channel, but I've been playing Destiny since D1 beta. I'm a long-time player. I've been playing for all 11 years. I just haven't really made content on it, because when I was like literally like 15 to 14 at that age. I know there's young gamers out there that record, but I didn't have the funds to be doing those videos and the confidence, so we're making videos now, 11 years later. We're going to be talking about the final shape and would I rank it on the DLC list, even though it's not out yet. We'll talk about that. But let me close this out. Boom. And here we go. This is the Destiny website. We're going to talk about every single Destiny DLC, and I'll be going in depth about it, and I'll be talking about the issues, all that stuff. Let's just start off from the bottom. Destiny 1 Vanilla. Alright, so Destiny 1 Vanilla, I'm going to just get out the straight. Obviously, nostalgia is going to play a big factor. I will say this was amazing. I love Destiny 1 Vanilla. I love the mysterious worlds. I love everything about D1 Vanilla. It was just so magical, and the fact that there was no game like it at the time just made it special. But, I'm not done. We're going to talk about some of the issues. Just real quick, let's get the cons out the way first. So the cons of D1 Vanilla was actually the in-game. And that's honestly the only issue with D1 Vanilla. D1 Vanilla to me had two problems. The story was a big issue. Horrible story, D1 Vanilla. Obviously, it's not horrible, but was not that good. And honestly, the end game. The fact that you have to beat Vault of Glass was the only way of getting Pinnacle. You could not reach level 30, which was the cap at the time. Or I think it was 30, yeah. 30, you could not reach 30 without beating Vault of Glass. If you did not beat Vault of Glass, which is the only means of getting endgame gear, you were done. And you had to make sure all of your pieces were that high level. I forgot. It's been so long, man. I mean, it was 11 years ago. You know, spare me some parts, but I will say it was definitely tough getting to max level in D1. Like, it was probably one of the hardest things ever. Vault of Glass, W raid, probably one of my favorite raids. I'm gonna do a raid tier list too on the downtime, because we have the whole 24 hours, might as well. But yeah, Vault of Glass, D1 Vault of Glass to me was a peak raid. I love that raid, man. W raid, all around, probably one of my favorite raids. I gotta give D1. I'm not gonna let nostalgia blind me, but I'm gonna say D1 Vanilla is B. It's B. It's B. It's gotta get a B. It's not that it's bad. It's the end game content was an issue, and just the fact that it's so hard to level up. That was also a problem. So, like, I gotta give D1 a B. You could move it to A. It's definitely not going S, just letting you know right now. But I say a B comfortable, and I don't think it goes below it either. Like, it's not going to C or D. It's definitely a B for sure. It's what introduced me. Like, if you want to boost it with nostalgia, you put an A. If you like, honestly, boosting nostalgia, it's A. This is good-ass memories right here. But B, no nostalgia blindness, it goes to B. We'll say W deals, that DLC, but W started Destiny. Like, this made me realize what Destiny could be. Just the vanilla alone. I didn't even really need to play any of these other seasons or DLCs. This alone made me realize how good this game was going to be. Alright, like I said, enough talk, no more raid, none of that, all that stuff. Let's go to Dark Below. So Dark Below. WDLC. I'm actually going to leave it here for right now. I'll talk about it. WDLC, I love Crota. Crota was the biggest introduction of, like honestly, I know, like, Crota actually, like, just his impact on all these DLCs, I mean, he didn't have the hugest impact on a lot of these DLCs, but Taken King, like, Crota is the reason why the Taken King even exists. And honestly, the Taken King DLC also impacted all these. So Crota is like the first, like, real big baddie. I feel like the big baddie in this is really not a big baddie at all. The Black Cart mission was cool, but we're not, like I said, I feel like the story in Endgame was weak in D1 Vanilla. Endgame and in Dark Below Vanilla is just the same thing. Crota, and I think the max life was 32. Weapons are really cool, though. I will say the weapons are really cool. I was really hyped for this DLC. And honestly, I love it. I love it. Like, in terms of a DLC, now, one thing is, too, also, I forgot to add this. We are not comparing these $20 to $30 DLCs to full-on $40, $60 DLCs. That's just not happening. We're not doing that. But I'm going to compare it to like seasons or something. That's what Dark Blows and House of Wolves really were. We're honestly just like seasons, but just bigger seasons. As that's not the route they were going at the time. Dark Below WDLC. I can't even really hate. I just feel like I had literally the same issues as D1 Vanilla. But you got to give them credit. Is it the first DLC they've ever made? And I can't hate on it. I feel like Crota's End back then was better. Crota's End release was better than Vault Glass. Vault Glass nostalgically is probably better as the first raid, but Crota's End to me was a lot more challenging in D1, and I gotta give it B. I'm not gonna rank it above. I just don't know if I can, but I gotta say it's a solid DLC. The crazy part is they literally suffered from the same problems. Other than that, they're both solid DLCs. Well, this is the game, but this is the DLC. You get what I'm saying. But yeah, they suffer from the same issues. End-game content was a problem. And the story was a little bit better in Dark Below, but it was so much shorter than the regular campaign that I gotta just time. It was better, just shorter. This was longer, way weaker. So I'm just gonna put them at the same beat. Both solid. This solid DLC, solid entry. House of Wolves, baby. Oh man, House of Wolves, man. I feel like for the money you spent, this was peak, man. You had the Prison of Elders, you had Trials of Osiris, which is Trials of Osiris has been the biggest ups and downs. Like I could talk about Trials of Osiris all day. This video is gonna be like 40 minutes long anyway, 40-50 minutes long anyway, because I'm just trying to I'm gonna try to just show my experiences real quick. House of Wolves had Trials, Prison of Elders. You had Lord of Wolves, Queenbreakers, bro. I had all the guns, good guns, man. It was just fun DLC. The story was pretty good, actually. I'm not gonna lie, on release, like the whole Queen thing, with the Reef, well, that was just so fire to me. It introduced a lot of characters, and I just feel like it was a good DLC. Like Skolas was a really cool villain. I mean, I know he really had nothing to impact the story at all. But I feel like Prison of Elders was really cool. Prison of Elders on release, by the way, if you guys don't remember Skolas' Revenge, the Prison of Elders mission, that was really freaking hard. Like, actually, like that's why when that mission came out, if you didn't have Gjallarhorn, you were not beating that mission. That was actually, like, truly the hardest mission in the game at the time. I would argue Skolas' Revenge, Prison of Elders, was harder than the raids at that time. I know that sounds crazy, but Skolas' Revenge was really hard. The light level cap went up as well. And I will say this to me is probably the best one, some way better than these two when it comes to endgame. You had Prison of Elders level up, Trials of Osiris. You had 2 more ways to level up. And I still think the raids will still get you to Pinnacle, I think. Maybe not Vault of Glass, but I think Crota's End can still get you to that Pinnacle cap. So I think the max was 34. So you had Prison of Elders and you had what's it called? Prison of Elders had a bunch of cool guns. I gotta rank it A, man. I gotta rank it A. Trials of Osiris is still in the game today and it's still a solid game mode. It has ups and downs. To be fair, the best Trials of Osiris is probably this. When it first was introduced, I had it. PvP was broken as hell. Fusion rifles were OP, shotguns were OP. Everything was OP during this time frame for PvP, but it still was peak. I gotta give it an A. Just gotta give it an A. Out of these two, House of Wolves to me was better. Dark Below had a raid. House of Wolves did not. I understand, but Trials of Osiris, Prison of Elders. If Prison of Elders were still in today, we will be playing it. And Prison of Elders, honestly, to be honest with you, is just a weaker Onslaught. Onslaught, you guys know, is a fun game. I like Onslaught, but sometimes Onslaught can get very repetitive. I feel like Prison of Elders is a little bit shorter than Onslaught. Actually, a lot shorter than Onslaught, but it's also not repetitive. I just like Prison of Elders. I actually am sad that it's still not in the game. I wish it was in the game. To me, that would be Pog. I liked it. I don't think anyone really even complained about Prison of Elders either. Besides, it was really, really hard in those harder levels, but gotta give it an A, man. No complaints. Taken King. Talk about Taken King. Taken King, I'm honestly, like, I'm not blinded by nostalgia. This DLC truly is just an S. Just kind of go off that and I'll talk about it. Alright, so first of all, let's talk about, we got new subclasses. So if you guys know, D1, both these 3 DLCs, only Titans had Void and Arc. Hunters, I think, had Arc and Solar. And then Warlocks had Solar and Void. So you only had 2 subclasses to play with. You're missing that other one. This had Arc Stormcaller, Sunbreaker, and Night Stalker. Those 3 new subclasses, and they've been meta for forever now. Like, since they were introduced, they've been meta forever. Besides Stormcaller Warlock, they kind of fell off a bit. But Sunbreaker, people use that shit every day now. Tether, I mean, like if like a lot of people use it in Onslaught, like Legend, like Esther soloed with Tether. So like I mean, I don't really gotta talk about Tether too much. Broken subclasses. Villain. Let's talk about the villain. I don't really talk about the villains too much because to me they're just kind of mad. They really don't talk too much. Oryx, best villain we've had so far up to this point. I'll talk about the other villains later. Oryx, definitely W villain. But King's Fall raid, W raid. Fucking love King's Fall. Trials of Osiris, W. I feel like it was better in Taken King actually than House of Wolves. It's just PvP was great. Everything was great. The Dreadnought location was great. The exotics. I forgot to mention exotics about these, but I feel like the exotics in these were good. Icebreaker, you know, you had all the exotics. You guys know. You had Icebreaker, you had Invective, you had, you know, all these old guns. Taken Kings added the Ace of Spades, the auto rifle with the shield thing. I forgot. It had exclusives for each character. Like I had the Hunter exclusive, Warlock exclusive, and Titan exclusive with the gunsmith bounties and stuff. And honestly, all the exotics were pretty cool. I remember you had the swords. Swords were introduced in Taken King. You had your Void Sword, your Arc Sword, and you had your exotic swords too in this DLC as well. I think it had like the Solar Exotic Sword, Void Sword. No, yes, I think the Void Sword was in it. I think all the swords were in this DLC, I believe. But yeah, the swords were really introduced in Taken King, and I gotta give it credit, man. It's just a W DLC. Like Taken King, I go on and on all day. There's so much with Taken King. The Dreadnought was such a W freaking location, bro. It's amazing. Like, it's not even nostalgia at this point. Like, I'm not saying this is going to be the best DLC in the tier list, but it definitely is gonna be S. I'm probably not gonna move this. I can't say for sure because I don't want the S to be oversaturated, but I will say that this is just a W DLC, man. Like, just the subclasses alone, all that stuff. It's just amazing, man. It's amazing. Sorry about that, guys. Gotta go get my food. But anyway, we're already talking about Rising Iron X, Taken King, easy S. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I am back. I'm back. Alright, so enough talk about Taken King. SDLC. Maybe I'll add on to it later, but SDLC, I mean, like I said, I could go on and on, but I'm not trying to be here for like, I don't know, 2 hours, so. Rise of Iron! Man, people, that's like the most forgotten DLC probably in Destiny history. And I'm just going to go out and say that this is a WDLC. I'm not gonna put it anywhere yet, but this is probably my personal favorite. I just love the OST. I also forgot to talk about the OST. Destiny Vanilla OST solid. Dark Blood OST, meh. House of Wolves OST is solid. Taken King OST is like S where it belongs. Rise of Iron OST. If I got an OST, it's probably my favorite. Besides, no, I probably would put it my favorite. Besides, probably Beyond Light. But Rise of Iron to me has the best soundtrack. You guys gotta listen to that soundtrack, man. I know a lot of you guys don't probably listen to video game soundtracks. That's just a W soundtrack. Like I go on and on about that shit. Rise of Iron, just peak. I love how Tifa was introduced. New villain type. We haven't seen it ever again since Rise of Iron. It was literally in Rise of Iron. The exotics. I'm not gonna talk about the other exotics. I had, you know, the other exotic sword, the Young Wolf's Howl, whatever it's called. They had a bunch of other good exotics in it. The Iron Banner was good. PvP was really good. It was hard too. Trials was probably at its hardest in Rise of Iron. Definitely hard. And it just WDLC. In terms of story too, I forgot to talk about Taken King's story is really, really good. I love how good the story is. The fact that all his in Dreadnought, everybody, Zavala, Cade, you know, everybody was in this DLC, and it made it a lot better. Rise of Iron to me, besides not having any of the main cast, Lord Saladin carried this DLC. This DLC was really emotional, and I just loved the story. The final mission was peak in my opinion. It was just a good, very, 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 very good DLC. I love Lord Saladin. He made this DLC, in my opinion, my favorite. He's such a good character. In fact, he's sad that they never went into depth with him anywhere else. Like this is like his only true DLC where he's the main character, kind of. And I gotta give him credit. He did a good job. So I also want to talk about Wrath of the Machine. Wrath of the Machine is also my personal favorite raid. My personal favorite DLC, and it also has my personal favorite raid. Wrath of the Machine to me is the most fun raid, and it's not just free and easy. And also too, we're gonna be talking about the Outbreak Perfected as well. Not Outbreak Perfected, but Outbreak Prime. That's what you're really called. It's called Outbreak Prime when it came out. This was probably the hardest exotic. And if you guys know Evan, the Destiny 2 YouTuber that goes over all the old stuff, you know him. You probably know him. He made a whole video on Outbreak Prime. It's a long video. This exotic, Outbreak Prime, I'm not going to talk about it too much, but it's one of the hardest exotics to get in the game. You had to do Morse code. You had to decode stuff. So it's just mind-boggling how hard it was to get this gun. Like, there was way too much shit to get this gun. It was a great gun, but I just love that how hard it was to get it. Like, you had to do Morse code, go on the software. You had to do the raid, jump on these certain panels. It's actually mind-boggling how hard it was to get this gun. Like, I cannot believe how hard it was to get this gun. It's actually crazy. Outbreak Prime, one of the hardest guns to probably get in Destiny history. Like, the fact that we had to do more... I don't think any gun actually had us do Morse code. This shit was retarded. But appreciate whoever solved that. Thank you. Anyway, I'm gonna put it in A. Like I said, I could go on and on about Rising Iron, probably my personal favorite DLC. I can't put it in S because it is a short DLC. It's probably it was $40. I think it was a little bit more than these two, and it was a little bit longer. But and the story was pretty good. That's pretty good, but I don't know. I feel like it was missing a little bit left to be desired. But definitely WDLC. Probably my favorite OSD. Probably my favorite story. Favorite raids. I love Siva. I wish it comes back. I don't know what it is. The Siva and Fallen are really cool. And yeah, I gotta give him credit. Rising Iron definitely. I'll definitely put it high A. I wish I could put an S. If this was my personal list, I would put an S. But I'm not gonna be blinded by nostalgia or anything like that. Alright, on to the next. Age of Triumph, this was a free DLC add-on, kind of like the April 4th update, if you guys don't remember that. It's not on here, but the April 4th update was peak. Age of Triumph update, it just, all the raids come back. You had you had adept versions of every raid exotic. You had adept Fatebringer, adept this, adept that. All the raids were coming back. King's Fall reprised, Vault of Glass reprised, Curtis M reprised, the fucking Wrath of the Machine, all 4 raids and D1 got reprised, had ornaments, they had new exotics to go with them. They added, you know, just more to them, and I go on and on. Just fucking S. Just fucking S. It's free too. Like, you gotta factor that into it. This is just an S. If you guys weren't playing this was fucking peak, bro. Just all the raids, some of the story missions come back, a lot of exotics came back. I'll go on and on. Like, just watch a video on the Age of Triumph thing. This is just, it's easy S. And honestly, since it's free, I could do this, but I'm not going to, because it really just added stuff we already had back to the game, but it just made it better. And the fact that you could actually play and get max rank, you had this, you had trials, it just had so much to it, man. It's just W fucking update, man. A lot of free updates are fucking goated. And this is just goated, man. I got nothing to say about Age of Triumph. Just watch a video on it, honestly, if you want to learn more about it. It's just peak, man. For free, got all the raids back, ornaments. They had adept versions of every gun, which added elements, by the way. I also forgot to add that primary weapons and special weapons weren't interchangeable. You had primary slot 1, special slot 2, special slot 3. It's not like D2 where you could mix and match whatever you want. So they added back elemental primaries, which was gone. They were gone. Taken King got rid of elemental primaries. Because I actually forgot to mention Taken King, which is why it's not going to be number 1, as it also completely reset the game. Another sunset point, which I hate sunset points. So sunset, if you had a sunset in your DLC is kind of nerfed a little bit. So yeah, they sunset in this DLC, which means elemental primaries were not in the game anymore. Besides, like the Arc auto rifle, which is pretty much just Risk Runner now. But it's Zalio something. Zalio Supercell or something. I think that's what it was. But it was a good gun. But that was like the only like elemental primary at the time. There wasn't many at all. But yeah. So WDLC, they brought that back. Just love Age of Triumph. Just go there. I'm not gonna talk too much about it. D2 Vanilla. Oh my god, D2 Vanilla, dude. D2 Vanilla. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I like it. I like D2 Vanilla. They try to do something new. I played the beta for D2 Vanilla. I gotta say it was solid. It was solid. I love that they added new subclasses. So they didn't add really new subclasses, but like Titans, instead of having just bubble, they have now offensive super. They have sentinel shield, where you can block, you can throw your shield bash, all that fun stuff. I think Hunters got Arc Staff. Yeah, Hunters got Arc Staff, which was different from Blade Barrage. Arc Staff was pretty cool too as well. I love you could just like the way you dodge. It was a W super. And Warlocks got Dawn Blade, which is still the best PvP super for Warlocks in my opinion. I think right now. I think yeah. So they got a lot of new. They got a couple new supers. The big issue for D2 Vanilla was the double primary meta. I didn't mind it too much, but it definitely slowed down the game a bit. PvP D2 Vanilla was probably the worst it's ever been. It was really bad, but it still it wasn't like that horrible. But I just feel like it could have been a lot better. They added class abilities, which is probably the best change they've ever did in D2 Vanilla. The class ability change is amazing. I love D2 Vanilla class ability change. That shit is amazing. And I will say D2 Vanilla also had probably the best story up to this point. A lot of the stories here are solid, but D2 Vanilla, like, Gaul was a dope-ass villain. And the fact that he just came out of nowhere, just beat us the fuck up. I love the OST in D2 Vanilla. D2 Vanilla has a good-ass OST. If you want to compare Vanillas, story-wise, I'd probably put D2 Vanilla over D1 Vanilla. Story-wise. And obviously, probably endgame time-wise, we also had a Leviathan raid, which was really cool. Leviathan raid was fucking really cool. Interesting. I love Callus. He came out of nowhere and was like, what's up, y'all? I'm the new baddie or whatever. I forgot. I don't know. It's been a while. But D1 Vanilla was dope. We had Leviathan raid. We had just a lot of new shit. It was just cool. But the issue with D2 Vanilla, why everyone hated it, and I actually can't blame them, is just the double primary meta. That shit ruined everything. And honestly, also too, everything was so tanky. Like it was not good for PvP. PvP was at an all-time low during this time. I actually am a PvP player. I love PvP so much that I was dropping like 3 KDs throughout the whole time. I've been playing Trials. I had a lot of flows, alright? Let me just say, I'm a PvP guy, alright? I love PvE, but I was a big PvP guy until, around here somewhere. But, yeah, this ruined PvP for me, and honestly, PvE was the only thing I really was playing at the time. Overall, though, I can't complain. It was good. It was something new. It was solid, but I do feel like the double primary change did kill it for me a little bit. I gotta say, if they didn't make that change, I would put it B, but just because of that change, I gotta give it C. And Leviathan, compared to Vault of Glass, was a little bit weaker. I feel like Leviathan is a little bit... I don't know, it's tough. I don't know, I feel like D2 Vanilla is tough. Story-wise, I gotta say, it's probably better than all of these. But it's just the double primary change, the raid. Leviathan was a solid raid, but it wasn't anything crazy like we've gotten before. It just was one of the weaker entries. So yeah, I gotta say no to that. Overall, though, the story was good. I gotta give it a C. I cannot put it D. I would never put it D. You can move it up to B, but I'm just gonna put it C. Let's be real, guys. The double primary change was PvP. It was horrible, and PvE it was alright. I mean, you had Rat King be the best gun in the game, so I guess that's cool. I guess. Anyway, let's move on. Also, too, I forgot the exotics. The exotics were a little new. We had Cold Heart. We had a bunch of little decent shit. It was solid. I won't lie. It was okay DLC, alright? It was alright. Not DLC, but start. Go to Curse of Osiris. Curse of Osiris. Added a bunch of new guns. Very hard to get. Mercury had a new public game. By the way, I forgot that D2 had added Nessus. It had Nessus. The moon, I don't think was in, actually, at all. The moon was not in D2 Vanilla. Moon was going to add in Shadowkeep, but yeah, D2 Vanilla had Nessus, Io, the EDZ, and it had another planet. I know it did. Io, Nessus, EDZ, and Titan. My fault, Titan, yeah. Those 4 locations, and there might be one more I'm missing. But yeah, I added a bunch of new locations. All of them are new. So I got to give D2 credit. Like I said, you could bump D2 Vanilla to B if you really wanted to. But I just feel like the double primary change, for me, it was not it. Curse of Osiris, anyway. Curse of Osiris. Added Mercury. Mercury, I love Mercury. Mercury from the Lighthouse was so cool. And Mercury, honestly, is just a W location. Probably Mercury has the best PvP maps in my opinion. But bro, Mercury was so empty. And bro, I don't know if you guys remember Mercury and when Curse of Fire came out. It was fucking empty. It was one public event spot, literally nowhere to go. I think it had like 1 or 2 lost sectors in it, and you had the Infinite Forest, which by the way, the Infinite Forest was sounded so cool in the trailers, and it was just really, 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 really bad. You couldn't even go in unless it was a story thing, and honestly, you couldn't replay the missions. Once you beat the story, I think that was it. So like. The Infinite Forest was just a useless mechanic unless you beat the story already. But if you didn't, then yeah. But I gotta say, Curse of Osiris, man, was not it. Trials of the Nine, I forgot to mention, was in D2 Vanilla. And obviously, it was in these 3 DLC, these 2 DLCs and D2 Vanilla. Trials of the Nine was solid. It was okay. I think it was gone, if I recall, actually, my fault, in Curse of Osiris, or it was in one of these, and sorry, Trials of 9, it was briefly here, but it was just a team shot meta. You had 4 people, countdown mode, survival mode, you know the drill. It just was, it was alright. It wasn't, you're not missing much. Trials of 9 was just something new they were trying, but it was kind of ass. Anyway, yes, Curse of Osiris, just D. I would say Eater of Worlds was a cool raid. Just way too short, bro. That raid was freaking short as hell. The only thing I remember is the 2 phases in the Argos. I don't remember the start to fucking Eater World. I just know you go in the underbelly. That's about it. But that raid was so short. Argos was a cool boss though. The big ass Hydra fucking floating in the thing. He was a cool looking boss and just a cool boss overall. I actually like his mechanics. Definitely easy, but I still enjoy his mechanics. And the fact that we were in a double primary meta kind of made him a little hard, actually. After that meta ended, I feel like this guy was fucking easy as hell, but it kind of makes sense. But he was a little challenging in the other meta. By the way, Curse of Osiris Exotics, they had Prometheus Lens. I also forgot about the Prometheus Lens. Let's just talk about Prometheus Lens very quick. They had a bunch of other exotics. Prometheus Lens was so freaking broken in Trials of 9 for 1 week that you just shoot for like 2 seconds and you kill somebody in like 2 seconds. It's just stupid as hell. It was broken as hell, but besides the point, yeah, it was dumb. So there's that. And another thing I wanted to add about Curse of Osiris was like it just didn't add much to it. Like the weapons are cool, exotics are solid. Infinite Force was ass, Mercury was ass, and yeah, that's about it. That's ass. And the story was ass too. Like the whole, I'm happy Osiris was in this DLC. Like we heard talk about him the whole way, and this is the first time you actually see him. He's so badass. I won't lie. He's really cool. I like the character. But yeah, nah, bro. It was not it. I don't even know what else to say. It's not it. Let's go to Warmind. Warmind W DLC. You had Whisper the Worm, I think, in Warmind. Yes, Whisper the Worm got introduced in Warmind. Because Zol was introduced in Warmind. The story was pretty good. The whole worm thing was dope. Mars was in this, which made me, I feel like Mars was dope. Mars was dope. The Warmind shit was dope as fuck. I'm not gonna hold you. The Warmind shit was dope as fuck. Mars was really cool in the Warmind DLC. I love that Rasputin was in it. I love Anna Bray. The fact that later on you realize that she's sisters with Elsie Bray. W DLC. I love Warmind. I really got like this is actually truly just Warmind made me come back to D2. I won't lie, Curse of Osiris kind of made me just stop playing D2. To me, it was really not that good at all. But I gotta give Warmind credit. W Exotics, Whisper the Worm was fucking meta as hell, and like I said, the exotics were good. PvP was still kind of shit, but I mean, fuck PvP. These 3 PvP was ass. Let's not even talk about it. PvE though was great. Fucking love Spire Stars, man. The music in Spire Stars is great. Mechanics was pretty challenging at the time, and the final boss is probably still, in my opinion, the hardest final boss. I understand Riven's hard. I understand like all these bosses Pantheon, but just imagine Pantheon with the fucking Valkyrie in it. This guy's hard with new mechanics, tormentors all around. Bro, I'm telling you, the Warmind had the best raid in D2. So at this point, I'm not saying D2 like no, trust me, this yeah, you know. Anyway, at this point though, this had the best raid out of these 3. Leviathan, Eater Worlds, Spire Stars. Spire Stars is better than both of these, honestly, combined in my opinion. W raid. I know it was very short, but Valkyrie was just such a good boss. WDLC. I can't talk too much about it. It was a long time ago. Forsaken. Just talk about it. Forsaken had the best story up until this point. And honestly, I gotta say it's top 3 stories. Forsaken saved this DLC. I mean, you guys know where it's going. It's going S, and it's actually going above Taken King. This DLC alone saved D2. I don't think you understand. Warmind, while good, was not saving Destiny 2 by itself. It was a good DLC, but trust me, guys, these 3 DLCs were just the decline of Destiny. Forsaken, if Forsaken didn't drop and was a baller DLC, Destiny was done. It was done. It was finished, guys. It was over. Anyway, Forsaken, honestly, I could talk about Forsaken more than, honestly, all of these DLCs combined. We had new supers. Warlocks got Well. They had Well, which is pretty good. They had Well. I think Chaos Reach was also introduced as well. Chaos Reach and Well. Just peak-ass fucking supers. Sunbreakers had Burning Maul. And we had Thunder Crash, I believe. W supers. Hunters got Blade Barrage. And I think they also had they had something else. Forgot what it was. They had something else in this. They had Blade Barrage. They did not have Gathering Storm though. Or maybe they did. I don't know, but they had something else. I'm sorry, my memory is fucking horrible. But it just more supers. Exotics, there's so many Forsaken exotics, bro. Honestly, I wish I could just pull it up, but like, cause I know you guys want to hear me just like with my shitty memory, but like, bro, so many good exotics. Story, bro, story is 10 out of 10. Definitely the best story on this list right now, currently too. Fact that this is the first major death in Destiny history too. Cayde dying, I mean, this still affected us until today. I mean, Final Shape, he's alive. He's alive in Final Shape. We haven't seen him since Forsaken, guys. Forsaken to now. His death changed a lot of people, and it's W fucking DLC. The Reef. W fucking location. I love the Reef, especially when it first came out. Obviously, it's gone now, but it was a W location. The Barons, W. Aldrin Saw was a villain. Fucking W. The soundtrack, probably the second or third favorite soundtrack in Destiny history. Amazing. Dreaming City. Fucking peak location. I just wish there was fucking waypoints besides the one waypoint. And honestly, I wish there was a lot more to do. There's a lot, but I wish there was a little bit more. Dreaming City, double location. Reefs, Dreaming City, double location. The story, like I said, it's fucking peak. The villains, peak. Fucking Last Wish, to me, is probably still the best and hardest raid at the time. I mean, I guess you could say, you know, all those, like, you know, Curtis Enterprise is harder, but Last Wish is really fucking stupid. Riven legit. I know Pantheon was a joke because it was a joke, but at the time, this raid, when Last Wish came out, and it was by far the hardest raid in the game, and it's also just the coolest raid too. The Wish Wall thing is cool. The bosses are really cool and unique. I can't stress enough. Like, Last Wish was just a fucking W raid. People just cheese Riven, so they never actually got to experience it until now. And now, in my opinion, she's just too easy. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I was doing Pantheon getting my Godslayer title, we one-phase Riven like pretty easily. She wasn't that bad. But back then, when she on release, she was not even close to the hardest boss in the game. That's why only one team got day one. I mean, one team got day one Last Wish. I think it's still the only one that one team got day one. It's the only raid. Vault on day one was, I don't even want to talk about it. It's so bad. It's just, man, this was tough, man. Like, this was rough. This was rough, man. This is fucking rough. Just WDLC, bro. WDLC, like, truthfully. WDLC. Yeah. Sagan definitely asked. It might be top. I go on and on, but we're at 34 minutes, so let's just keep going. Black Armory, man. Black Armory was good. Black Armory was a good DLC. Also, I forgot to also talk about this, too. Titles were introduced in Forsaken. We had the Dredgen title, you had the Unbroken title, you had a bunch of titles. Cursebreaker, you have Riven's Bane, you had all these other titles. Titles were introduced, and titles are still one of some of the best things in Destiny. I love chasing for titles. Right now, I'm at like 18 or 19 titles, I believe, and I'm trying to get to 20. Forsaken added like just the best rebate. Also got Gambit. I almost forgot about Gambit because it's so bad now. But Gambit went on release was actually very freaking fun. I love Gambit on release. Now it's just kind of ass, but Gambit on release, oh my god, it was actually good as hell. And I remember getting my first title, which was the Dredgen title. Such a fun experience, actually. It was painful and fun at the same time, but just gotta say, man, Forsaken, just 10 out of 10 DLC, bro. I can't talk about it enough. Black Armory, we added a lot of new guns. Izanagi's fucking still peak ass gun. It kind of got nerfed, but still pretty peak now currently. W gun. I will say, Black Armory had a lot of other good guns as well. I love the forges. The whole forge thing was really cool. I actually wish the forges were 6 players though. It made it a little bit harder. The forges with 3 people was kind of hard. A lot of people left with forges. You had Jotun, you had La Monarch. Jotun and La Monarch peak guns. Jotun was so broken. I do hate Jotun, especially in PvP. Also forgot to mention Forsaken 2 also, I'm so sorry I keep forgetting this. Forsaken also added the no more double primary. You could run a special in slot 2, primary in slot 1, and a heavy in slot 3. And you could interchange them. Forsaken also too, I forgot, had the best PvP change ever. This main PvP actually good, and we also had one-eyed mask. Oh my god, one-eyed mask was so broken. Just gotta say, PvP was the best it's ever been. Everything was broken. Everything was broken in Forsaken, but I don't give a fuck. It's the best DLC for PvP. At this point, all the other DLCs are shit. PvP. This is the best DLC for PvP. Black Armory, like I said, Army. Let me keep on Black Armory. Black Armory also had a raid. The raids, very, 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 very good. I like Scorch of the Past. People do not like it. I think it's a fun raid. The Sparrow encounter is fucking great. I don't know why people don't like it. I think it's fun. Answer Prime, the last boss in that raid was pretty cool. I just love, like, you know, Black Armory. It was a cheap DLC too. I think it was $20 or $30. It wasn't that bad. WDLC though, I like it. I like it. I like it. I think Black Armory like kept me invested in Destiny 2. As Forsaken was so good, but this came out a lot after it. Like there was a gap. Like these took like 3 months. But WDLC regardless, I'll probably put this A. I'll probably put it A. I like Black Armory for how much it was. It wasn't that much, I don't believe. Like I said, my memory could be cloudy, but it still was it's good DLC, man. Can't really talk bad about it. And that's another thing too, like I feel like there's not that many good things to talk about. Just new guns, new exotics, the forges, all that stuff, the raid. But it's not negative to talk about it either. I feel like the only thing on negative I can talk about is how fucking broken Jotun was. I fucking hate that gun. But everything else is fine. Season of the Drifter, dude. This season's so bad, man. Gambit was good to this point. Gambit, honestly, was just a nice game mode. Black Armory and Forsaken obviously had Gambit. Gambit was solid. To be fair, it wasn't that important and it wasn't that good in my opinion at the time, but it was still solid. Like, it's still solid title. Like, that title, but solid game mode. Like, it was something I play occasionally. It wasn't something I played religiously. I always focused on PvP, PvE, and then Gambit was like the last thing I was playing, but it was fun. It was a mix of both, so I was like, you know what, why not? But this whole season was about Gambit Prime. You had the Trials in the non-game mode too, which was pretty fun, but that really wasn't the main focus. They really wanted you to play Gambit Prime, which to me was, while fun, I like the whole, you had the Invader, you had the Banker, like you had your 4 things. You had the green suit, which is like all PvE stuff. You're killing enemies, getting more motes. The Invader, we had a whole red suit. You get buffs if you're wearing the whole red Invader shit. And you had the purple one, which is like security or something. I forgot. Like if someone invades, you get buffs when they invade. You do more damage to them, yada yada. And then the white one, forgot what that one. I think that was the mote one where you could have like 20 motes, 25 motes, or whatever it was. It was cool. Interesting mechanic. I really didn't. My personal gripe with it is the fact you had to wear armor suits to just get benefits. I just feel like that was kind of dumb. I mean, to each their own. We did have the Reckoner title. Forgot this had the Blacksmith title. W title name. Reckoner is probably the hardest title to get in the game. I guarantee you, if you have this title, you're just a GOAT. And I'm not saying like, I hate to say it, I'm not saying you're GOAT. Well, you are GOAT at the game, but you're just GOAT in terms of dedication. Like, you put so much time to get that title, you have my utmost respect. I don't know how you fucking did that shit. Anyway, it's just not good, but it's not like if you like Gambit, I'm gonna put it C. I think Gambit was solid, but like it could go D, man. I'm not gonna lie, it could go D, bruh. I would not put it below Curse of Osiris. I feel like Curse of Osiris almost killed the game. Gambit Prime didn't kill the game, but like it was not good, bruh. It was not good. Like Gambit Prime, like this season of the Drifter, I think it was called Season of the Drifter. If Season of Opulence did not come out the Drifter, like Destiny 2 might have been another decline. I'm not gonna lie to you, but yeah, not a good update, but it was solid. Like if you're a Gambit fan, you're gonna like this DLC. And honestly, the whole Reckoner thing, like not the Reckoner, the Trials of Nine game mode was pretty fun too. Like the fact that you could go into the Trials of Nine world, get all those guns and stuff. It was cool. It's cool. I'm not gonna say it was ass. It wasn't that good either. But yeah, like I said, the exotic super solid too. It was alright. Anyway, Season of Opulence. This DLC is just peak, man. This season, because I forgot. I'm gonna call it DLCs because these seasons were true like DLCs. Honestly, just disguised as seasons. That's what their new motto was. These are actual seasons, in my opinion, because they are way weaker than what these were. Like Season of Opulence. If you want to talk about actual seasons, this is the best season. But I treat it differently because honestly, it's more like a DLC. They're a little bit more expensive this season over here, but they added so much more content. So this DLC added a raid just like Black Armory did. Added more exotics. The Menagerie game mode is just so good. The fact that it takes place in the Leviathan depths, just W game mode. I can't talk much about Menagerie because it's been such a long time, but I just remember it being so fun, and this is probably the best 6-player matchmade activity in the game still to this day. They added a bunch of 6-player activities to this thing. Now, obviously, I know raids are better. Obviously, I'm not going to say raids aren't better, but like to this day, Menagerie was the most fun. Match-made 6-player, most fun I ever had. Excluding PvP too. Like PvP control obviously is more fun in my opinion, and raids is obviously more fun, but Menagerie's like, it's right there too. Like it's just peak, man. Guns fucking phenomenal. This had like my favorite lineup. You brought a lot of old guns back. The raid, Crown of Sorrows was a W raid. While short, it's still a W raid. And everything was really broken in PvE. I think this is the most broken PvE was. You had the GLs. Auto-loading was still so stupid. Auto-loading was broken as hell in this game. Like you just keep shooting. Outbreak was broken. Everything was broken in this game mode. I'm not gonna lie. It was fun times, man. W exotics, W raid, I just goated, man. Just goated all around. I gotta give this S. Like for a season, like I'm comparing it to these three. This is an S. And honestly, comparing to all these other DLCs, it's the S too. Like I prefer this. Like I was having more fun on Season of Opulence than I was all this down here. This was the most fun I've had in a season. Definitely, in my opinion, going to be the best season up here. So next, let's talk about it. Shadowkeep. So Shadowkeep. So, by the way, let me talk about everything up until this point. I was playing on console because for some motherfucking reason, it wasn't on Steam. Destiny 2 was on Battle.net, and obviously that was ass because you could not crossplay. Shadowkeep, I'm gonna bump it up a little bit because they added crossplay. And you can also link your account. So this was when I actually started playing on PC. As these DLCs, I played on PC, but I had a separate account. Like, I hated that. I really should have been playing on PC throughout Destiny 2 start, but yeah, I just didn't. So yeah, Shadowkeep introduced the crossplay and link account thing. Probably the best thing they've ever added in a while. Gotta say, I love it though. I love it. WDLC. I gotta say, WDLC. Shadowkeep story was good. Wasn't anything crazy. You had nightmares. You went back to the moon, a reused location, so it wasn't that crazy. But story-wise, was pretty solid. Guns, a lot of exotics were pretty good. I will say they made a lot of changes to PvE. I feel like PvE came a little harder. I don't think auto-loading really existed anymore after this. And they nerfed a couple things as well. So like PvE, a lot of the stuff got nerfed PvE. But it was pretty balanced. I don't think they added any new supers either. I don't believe they added anything new super-wise. Like I said, the Nightmare thing was cool. This is the first kind of... first peek into like the salvation thing, pyramid shifts. Pyramid shifts obviously was teased at the end of D2 campaign, but you really didn't see them at all through any of these DLCs. These are kind of just like, in terms of like the light and dark saga, like these are just fighting like, you know, regular bullshit enemies. Aldrin kind of was like a glimpse, but yeah, you get the point. Like, this is the first true glimpses that pyramid shifts, its technology, all that stuff. I feel like the DLC was good. Story-wise was solid. Exotics were pretty good. Love that they brought Erismore back. By the way, she was literally absent throughout this whole time. Happy they brought her back. I gotta give it a WDLC, man. I really can't say much. It was good. Like I will say this, my fault. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. PvE got nerfed, and also PvP. Since the change to Steam, this was when cheaters were at an all-time high, and I will say PvP up until I will say PvP up until like this point was really like the worst it's ever been. So I'm not even gonna really talk about it. Shadowkeep to Beyond Light, because I think Beyond Light, it's one of these DLCs over here. They added anti-cheat. To be fair, it really didn't work. I feel like it really took the effect of Witch Queen. After Witch Queen, I've never seen cheaters after that. But cheaters were like, this is when it started, and that PvP was at an all-time low. But otherwise, story was good. Guardian's Salvation was W. Divinity, W Exotic. I love Shadowkeep. I'm not gonna rank it too high because PvP was at an all-time low for me, but it's it gets an A, low A. I'll put it low A. Actually, I'll put it high B. I'm not gonna suck it off too much. I will say PvP it was ruined. It was ruined. I will say PvP was ruined in Shadowkeep, but story-wise, Garden, W raid. People who don't like Garden, I love Garden. I think it's a W raid. That's why I have the title. I feel like it was kind of fun and enjoyable. Yeah. I can't really say too much about it. I feel like Shadowkeep is the solid DLC. Alter the Sorrows 2 was another build. It was alright. Yeah, it was okay. I feel like there was a lot to do at the time. It was solid. It was solid. Alright, now we get into the seasons here. I'm gonna just straight up say that some of these are really bad, besides this one. Undying, you're gonna get C. Undying was at the same time as Shadowkeep. Undying had a cool game mode, though. I will say this is like, it's a good game mode. Kind of reminds me of the Menagerie game mode, just a little bit worse. It was solid though. I can't complain. I do remember it being kind of fun. It was pretty action packed. It was a good game mode, man. I really can't complain much about it. It was a good game mode. The season stories are pretty weak, by the way, so I'm not going to talk about it. But it was solid. Not much to really talk about. It was okay. The game mode was fun. Like I said, PvP is the same as Shadowkeep, so PvP's ass, so I'm going to put a C. Season of the Dawn. First introduction to Saint 14. Season of the Dawn actually had a solid story for a season. Not saying it's comparable to any of the DLCs, but for a season, it's actually pretty solid. Introduced to Saint 14 with his mook-ass self. I will say, good DLC, and this brought back Trials. Brought back Trials of Osiris, by the way, guys. I also forgot to mention that Trials was absent, I believe, during this whole time. Trials of Osiris came back during this DLC. And was it bad? Yes. PvP, like I said, throughout this whole point was fucking horrible. It was not it, but we still played anyway because it's Destiny 2. There's nothing really like it. Season of Dawn, I'll give it a B and a B. It's good. It's good. The whole Bastion exotic was pretty cool. That whole exotic quest was cool. The fact that you saw, I think, a grave. I don't think it was your grave too. Was insane. Or Saint 14 grave. I forgot. It was a grave. All right, just know that it was a grave. Okay. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Crazy DLC. Good DLC though, but yeah, crazy nonetheless. And yeah, it's kind of it. Really it, honestly. Just solid DLC season. I like the 6-player activity. Definitely weaker than Menagerie for sure, and definitely I feel like it was weaker than the Vex Offensive. But the Vex Offensive, I think it was Vex Offensive. It was Vex something. You're fighting the Blackguard or whatever. We'll say this to me had more fun than this, but the guns were better in the season, and I think the story was better. So yeah, it goes there. Season of the fucking Worthy, just D. I'm not gonna talk about it. PvP was all time low. I didn't really play the story. I could put this and didn't play because I only played like 3 weeks, but it just was really bad. The cheaters was so bad. PvP. This was the worst season for cheaters. It's actually not even close. I actually stopped playing because of the cheaters. I could put it in do not play, but I did play a little bit, and I gotta say also went back to the story. The story was horrible. PvE was horrible. I listen. If you're in the comments and you played this entirety of the season, you tell me the good things you had about this season. I just remember it being bad. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't play the whole season, all the days in it or anything like that. But I just remember this being fucking horrendous, man. I fucking hated this DLC or season. Just ass. I could put it in do not play, but I'm just gonna put it in D because my experience with it when I had it was bad. It'll be different if it was okay and I stopped playing. I will put it in didn't play, give it some credit. But the experience I was playing for the 3-4 weeks was horrible. So yeah, just ass. Exotics, whatever. I mean, I truly don't care about this season of. I think it was season of the Worthy. It was bad. It's bad season. I don't remember the game mode either. To the 6-player activity, 3rd-player activity. I don't remember the game mode at all. Yeah, nah, man. Just wasn't it. Just wasn't it. Season of Rivals. I like Season of Rivals. Out of Undying, Chosen, and Dawn, this is definitely the best. Will say I love that they brought back Eris Morn, and I will say this is definitely one of the longest seasons, but they added a lot of the Pyramid Exotics. This is like the true Pyramid is coming thing. These 3 seasons, I mean, I will say Season Worthy had Kaido, it had a dope strike. This is, just whatever, Dawn, whatever. But I feel like this added a lot to the story. The fact that the Pyramid ships are actually here, you had all the game modes, Io and stuff, and the fact that a lot of the, places were gone after Beyond Light was just crazy. Like, this changed a lot of shit. Kaido wasn't in this DLC. This was like more of a Rasputin DLC, because Anna Bray and, her and him. Rasputin kind of died in this DLC, or the season, whatever. But, yeah, whatever. It's just ass. Just know it's ass. Season Rivals, though, it was good. Cheating was still rampant, but I feel like, I don't know what it is. I feel like it was a lot less in the season. I was like 400 or something this season. I just love Season of Rivals. Just a W season. And also, I was really excited for Beyond Lights. That's also why I played this season a lot. It was good, though. I love it. I love Season of Rivals. I can't really say too much about it. The Ruinous Effigy was the Season Exotic. And it's just... Not Season Exotic. It was the Exotic Quest for this season. It was good, though. I can't... Like I said, I can't really say too much about it. It was such a long time ago. And there was so much... I was playing so much. So my memory is, like, foggy from that time. But it was good, though. Like, I was ranked 400 something for a reason, so I'm just gonna put it up here. I feel like it had a lot to do. Obviously, there's still cheaters running around, but out of these 4 seasons, it's just the best one. Like I said, I can't talk about it much. My memory's foggy, but let's go to Beyond Light. Beyond Light. Just get this out the way. Has my favorite soundtrack in Destiny 2. I know it's not probably saying much, but it's my favorite soundtrack. Story-wise, I love it. Story-wise too. Elsie Bray, the Stranger, comes back. I fucking love the Stranger in D1 Vanilla, but she left like in 2 seconds, so you can't really say you liked her at all. But Beyond Light, I like her. She's cool. Stasis, so stupid. And honestly, we're not gonna be talking about Stasis currently because it's just not as good as it once was. I will say it was broken on release, but Jesus, was it broken, man? I fucking love Stasis on release. PvP with Stasis was a nightmare. But, I mean, shit, dude. If they're using it against you, you can use it too. And I was mopping everybody in Stasis Titan. Oh my god, I was sliding, shotgunning, my melee going across the map. This was fun times with PvP. Everything was broken when it comes to Stasis. But, story was solid. I love Aramis. Aramis was a cool villain. I love, like, the whole Baron thing. They're kind of going for Forsaken vibes. Didn't hit all the notes, but I think it was still cool. And Europa is just amazing location. Probably still my favorite location. I love Europa. OSC's great. The fucking the crypt, Deepstone Crypt raid is, in my opinion, one of the coolest raids. Still probably the coolest raid. Just very easy, and I also don't really like the mechanics in it too much. But it's a good raid. It's fun. It's fun. Let's just say it's fun. It's a fun raid. Day one experience it was crazy. I didn't get it sadly, but it was alright. I like Beyond Light though. It just added a lot of new stuff. Stasis was just really good. Can't say much negative about it besides Stasis was broken. I think the story was solid, and I like it though. I like Beyond Light. I'm gonna put it like here. I'll probably put it here. I like Beyond Light. Like I said, a lot of people that do hate Beyond Light are just PvP players that thought Stasis was broken. I'm a PvP player as well, and I know while it was broken, I just feel like it was fun. You could use it too, so like, can't really say it was that broken if you could use it too. It was broken. I'm not gonna deny that shit at all. That shit was broken as fuck. But it was still fun to use. And honestly, if people are using it against you, you just use it against them. WDLC though, like truly WDLC. I just love Stasis so much. I'm just Stasis like on release was just so fucking fun. They just nerfed the fucking hell out of it, sadly. But still, love Stasis. I gotta give it S. Just have to. Like I said, the one negative, and also too, I forgot to mention, a lot of these seasons there was multiple ways to level up, but I don't know what it is. I think Beyond Light added the pinnacles from Crucible, Vanguard. So there's so many more ways to level up. This had like the most ways to get to max light. I love Beyond Light. I love Beyond Light. People forget about Beyond Light. I love it so fucking much. I love Beyond Light. Splicer, this was going on during the time. This had like the Nightmare Hunts. It had like the Wrathborn Hunts or whatever it was called. It was okay. I can't. Aldrin came back. I will say Aldrin came back. He was working for the Splicer. That was cool. Story wise, this added a lot more to Beyond Light. I'll give it a B. I'll do this. Actually, I'll probably do this. Let me stop playing. The only thing cool about the Splicer season was what's it called? The Reef was still around. Actually, yeah, Reef was still around. Kind of left during this, but yeah, it was good. It was good. It was a good DLC. I can't complain. It was good. Or season, I should say. It's good season, but Beyond Light's peak. Season of the Chosen. This was 10 times better than Worthy. I feel like this focused on Zavala and this and Kaido had the Proving Ground strike, great strike. The activity was pretty fun. I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry, guys. My memory's super foggy, but it was. I do remember it being pretty fun. And there was a lot to do. I gotta give it like B as well. B is kind of saturated, but I feel like B is just like it's good, but it's not that good type of thing. I feel like it's B. I feel like I like it better than this. I remember Kaido being really cool. Just WDLC. Season of Splicer. Like I said, I can't talk much about Chosen. Jesus Christ, guys. This is a lot of. We got a lot more to go, alright? It's 56 minutes, okay? Season of Splicer, DLC. I love Metrax, man, in this season. He was just some normal guy you see in Zero Hour, by the way. I forgot what season Zero Hour came out, but it came out after Shadowkeep, I think. It was in one of these seasons that Zero Hour came out, and Mitrax was in that mission, and then he comes back and it's an actual guy. You see the Fallen in this season. Season of Splicer is just a cool season. The fact that you go into the Vex network, you had some cool stuff to see, cool exotics, cool, what's it called? Yeah, just cool, man. Just cool. I'll put it in like B or A, I should say, low A. I like the seasonal stuff. I don't remember too much about it, but I do like the seasonal stuff. I think it was a good season. This is Season of the Loss, I believe. Season of the Loss. The Season of the West, Season of the Loss, right here. Loss. It's a good season. I do remember it a little bit. It just reminds me of The Wish too much, but it's good. It's good. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's a good season. A W season. I think. Forgot to mention one of these seasons added a dungeon. I'm so sorry. I forgot the dungeon. This is my fault. I think this is the 30th anniversary. My fault. I don't know why it doesn't say 30th anniversary, but I think this is the 30th anniversary. Anyway, yeah, Season Lost. Good DLC. A season, I meant it's good. I don't remember too much about it, but I do remember it being pretty solid. The exotics pretty good. PvP was better. I think cheating was at an all-time low during the season. I think Witch Queen just never existed. I don't see cheaters from this point onward. So PvP was a lot better. It was still a little bad up until this point, but it got better. I will say. Season of Lost, don't remember too much. I do remember it being like Season of Rivals was a long season, so I'm putting it right next to each other, but I do remember me playing that whole season. I was like ranked 300, so like I said, I do remember these two DLCs seasons being really good, and they were really long, but they were good. So this is 30th anniversary, I believe. I don't know why the picture's not 30th anniversary. I could be wrong. Please, in the comments, let me know if I'm wrong. I'm gonna go with the 30th anniversary. I don't think this was Age of Triumph. If it was, well, why the hell don't I remember this? I will say these two seasons, like before Witch Queen, I wasn't playing, so I guess that could be it. Maybe this is Age of Triumph. I don't know. I really was not into Destiny in these two. I got back into Destiny Witch Queen and I started playing these seasons. But yeah, I don't remember this. If this is 30th anniversary, this is going, because it had Grasp of Avarice, it's going like high A. They'll probably put it there. It's good. It was good. It was good. You had to pay for the dungeon and the Days of Eternity, but that was good. That was good. That was fun. That was fun. I like it. I like it. Guys, average is still a W dungeon. I like it. I like it. Witch Queen. Sorry, guys. That was like a long season break. So we're back to actual DLC. All right, so Witch Queen. Just man, the story was fucking great. Savathun's W villain. Fucking W villain. Love Savathun, W villain. Guns. We had Savathun Strong World. Craftable weapons. Oh my god, I love craftable weapons so fucking much. It's amazing. The exotics were fucking so good and peak. The story was good. Man, Witch Queen, like, I don't even know, like, any negatives. Also, too, we had Vow Disciple, which W raid. By the way, I'm gonna let you guys know, I've actually never beaten Vow Disciple. I've watched all the raids, and I've obviously did Ralk in Pantheon. I gotta say, he's such a good fight, and I gotta say, Caretaker's fun, too, so... W fucking raid, and just W everything, like... Savathun Strong World is so cool, the missions are hard, the exotics were great. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, Witch Queen is gonna go above Taken King. Story wise, it was better. And then add no subclasses, it just added, you know, this. But story wise, it was great. And it was a good DLC. Like, it truly was a good DLC. I do love the fact that we were fighting Light Guardians or Light Hive. My fault, Hive with the Light. So Hive Guardians kind of. Savathun was a guardian herself. It was a cool DLC. It was just interesting. I gotta give it S. Story wise too, also my fault. Story wise it was good, I was gonna say, but this also added Legendary Campaign. Legendary Campaign is the best thing they've added for the campaign. And ever since then, I've only played Legendary Campaign. Legendary Campaign, Legendary Campaign, and when Final Shape comes out right here, Legendary Campaign. So, gotta say, Witch Queen, just WDC. I got literally nothing negative. If you want to add on in the comments, please let me know. But I have nothing negative. This is just a good DLC. Season of Defiance was pretty good, actually. We had, like, you go into the pyramid ships. I do remember it a good amount, and I had a good exotics. I love the Ascendant Realm thing you had to go to. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put it, like, right here. It's a good DLC. Added on to Witch Queen. A lot of these updates with this, if it's good, it's gonna be put here. So, yeah, it was good. That was good. I do love this. I do love this. Yeah. So I'll put Defiance right there. Season of this. I forgot to see this. Okay, so my fault. I forgot to add this. Did not add any like dungeon. This is just Season of Defiance. This is just like add a bunch of cool guns, you know, all that stuff. This is my fault. This is Defiance. This is another season, but I added a cool activity. It was a good season. I'm sorry, my memory is horrible. This season just reminds me a lot about this one. This is Defiance, but this one's a good season. I don't remember too much, but I do remember it having a fun activity. It was a good season. I like it. I like it. I like it. This is the one on the Leviathan. This added duality dungeon, and this is a good one. I love the weapons in this. The fact that they brought back a lot of weapons from the Leviathan was pretty cool. The Crown of Sorrow thing was like the main source of this thing, and it was a good DLC. I like it. The fact that we went back to Leviathan, it was a place you could roam around. That was good. That was good. I played a lot during the season. I gotta give this probably right here. A lot of the seasons are gonna be here. I can't put the only season that's going up here is Uplands. It's just too peak. Yeah, Duality, W Dungeon, love Duality. It was good. It was good. I like Duality. W Dungeon. Let's go to Plunder. Plunder added Thunderclap and it added a couple new melees. It was very added. I think the Witch Queen had like the dodge catapult thing. It had a bunch of new things. I'm so sorry. Like, like I said, my memory's very cloudy. These ones are a couple years ago. Been going on for an hour, guys. I'm sorry, but Season of Plunder was good. I love the Thunderclap thing they added for Titans. They added a couple new things for like Hunter 2. It was a cool DLC, and the fact that you were finding Nezarek's head, which plays on the Lightfall, you had to find Nezarek's body, yada yada yada. It was a cool DLC. I won't lie, I didn't play much of it though, so I want to put it and did not play because I do remember it being good, but I also can't say it was that good either. I don't want to put it in D, don't want to put it in S or A or B. Because I didn't play too much about it. Do remember it being solid, though. I will say that, but I'm putting do not play just to play it safe. This season, I do believe, added season of this season. I do remember. I think a little bit. I think it was good. Do remember it being good. I will say I think this one added Spire Stars. I could be very wrong on this, but I think this one added Spire Stars. And Spire Stars is W dungeon as well. I can say I like this one. I want to put in didn't play either, but at the same time I do remember a little bit of this. I'm gonna put it like high B. Or like I'll do this. And A. I know A is super saturated, I'm sorry, but like this I do remember it being solid. I would, you know what, nah, I'm gonna put did not play. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't wanna rank it bad. I do remember it being good though. And if it did have this DLC the season did have Spire Stars, then it should get B or A, because Spire Stars is a W dungeon, and a lot of the exotics are pretty solid too. Like I said, a lot of seasons, guys, I don't remember too much, because some of the seasons just aren't good, let's be real here, and they're only ranked, some of these are really ranked highly, like for instance, Spicer, Lost, and these 4 seasons are ranked highly. They were good, but you also got to factor the price into. If these were $40, they'd be like in D or something. They're luckily only $10 a season, so you gotta rank them money-wise as well. Lightfall. Let's get out of the way. Let's get this out of the way really quickly. Strand is fucking amazing. I fucking love Strand so much, and Strand is probably my favorite. Probably the most fun I've had on a subclass to this date. I love Strand, man. I love Strand so much. I go on and on about how much I love it. It's just a W subclass, man. W subclass, man. But I gotta say, Lightfall has the worst story ever. The fact that none of it makes sense until a fucking cutscene, literally, like, I think it was like a month or 2 later, to explaining it, the story made no sense. The witness comes out of nowhere and is cool as fuck, I won't lie to you. Nimbus and Rohan in the campaign are just, they're okay. I mean, I could care less about Nimbus, and Rohan literally had the weakest death I've ever seen ever. But yeah, it was alright, man. I can't really say much about it. I'm not gonna say it was good, I'm not gonna say it was bad, but it definitely wasn't that good either. Lightfall story was definitely the weakest. Callus too. Callus is a really cool villain. I mean, I just hate the fact that he's just so easy to kill in a campaign. Like, how does he go from being this omniscient being that you're fighting his robot in the raid with 6 people? His robot, which means you think he would be a lot stronger, right? But no, that is not the case at all. He's not stronger at all. Like, I can't believe that. Like, they should have made him just a raid boss. Like, instead of like having Root of Nightmares, make you know, you could add Root of Nightmares later on or something, like in one of these seasons. But I know they didn't want to do that. But like, you could have had Callus a raid boss, brother. You had his robot be a raid boss. Why can't he be a raid boss himself? But no, of course not. Anyway, yeah, that's that. Callus was alright, pretty trash. Witness was pretty cool in this DLC. I will say the fact how you get to is it Neptune? I forgot where you're going. I'm so sorry, but it's the new planet for Lightfall. It's really cool. I forgot what it's called. My brain just had the most massive brain fault. It's not Neptune. I forgot what it is. But anyway, it's a really cool planet. I love the new location on Lightfall. I just feel like it was a little bit empty, but it's good. It's good. Root Nightmares 2. I love Root Nightmares. I had day 1 of Root Nightmares, but it's not really saying much because I gotta say it's probably the easiest raid, I want to say, up until this point. I'm hoping the Final Shape raid is not easier, but yeah, Root Nightmares is a very easy raid. I gotta say it's probably one of the easiest raids. So I got day 1 of that, but got me. Still, I got day 1. All right, cool. Anyway, it was a good raid. I love Nezarec as the final boss, dope ass final boss, and a good raid. I will say Root Nightmares is a good raid. I will say I like Root Nightmares as a raid. The design is cool. The actual raid is cool. I just feel like it's way too short and it's a little bit way too easy. We'll say Planets though. Day 1 was. Planet's period is really bad, and Nezarec himself, you know, on Pantheon was really bad too. So it was challenging in other places, but it was to me it was pretty hard. Lightfall, I'm gonna put it. If it wasn't for Strand, I would probably put this in C or D, but for Strand, I'll put it B. The story was so bad, guys, that this is like the second last. Like this is it, bro. This and then Final Shape. The seasons I hear, I'm sorry, seasons I'm not comparing to DLCs. Like I could honestly just leave the seasons off here and just compare the actual main DLCs. But Lightfall as an actual DLC is not that good. The story was really bad. Strand saved this DLC. I'm so serious. Strand saved it. And the raid didn't save it either. So the new location was cool too, but it wasn't better than Europa in my opinion. Like I said, Strand saved this DLC, and I truly mean that. Like, Strand was so fun that it made me like this DLC a lot more than it really was. Lightfall story, though, abysmal. I still give it a B, though. You could put it A I would not put it above Rise of Iron, but I could put it here because it is the main DLC, and I feel like I like it more than most of these seasons because it's Shran. But I gotta, since it's the main DLC and you had to pay $40 something, I gotta put this down here. A lot of these seasons are like 20. I think this was 20 to 30, but it was actually pretty fun at the time. And these are like, they were 20, 30. This is like $40, $50, and yeah, it was not good. I think this is Season of Defiance right here. This was a good DLC. Season I'm at. It's solid. I will say it wasn't that good. This one you had to go in the center realm actually. This one I'll put at high A. This actually to me, for a season, is good. I'm only ranking Lightfall below because it's a full-fledged DLC. This is a season, so we can leave it here. I think someone died too. I was Amanda Holiday. She died in this DLC. Pretty depressing, but yeah, she died. That was tough. But regardless, it was a good DLC. I like the season. Season of the Deep. This added Ghost of the Deep dungeon. W dungeon. I like Ghost of the Deep. Is it fucking hard? Yes, it is. I fucking hate that dungeon. I actually was trying to solo it before the thing went down, but there you go. Now I can't do it now. So yeah. Anyway, love Season of the Deep. Actually, it's a good season. Didn't really play too much about it. I didn't get to rank 100, but I did like Ghost of the Deep, and I think it was a solid, very solid season. I'll rank it like, I'll probably as a dungeon, so I'll do this. I like this season overall more, but the dungeon from Ghost of the Deep is probably better. And Navigator is fucking good as exotic in the dungeon too. I'll put it there. Plus Sloan's back, so yeah, I'll put it there. And the season on State was solid too. Deep Dive is okay. Alright, let's go here. Season of the Witch. This is when Ares Morn becomes this figure in the back. Didn't play much of this season either. I was only like 70, 80. I didn't get max. But regardless, I think it's a good season. I like it. Story-wise, it's good. One thing I will say, I don't understand how this factors into this season. I feel like all the seasons should connect. A lot of them are just fucking dirty. Like this, you have the little dragon, you have Sloan, and then, like, I don't understand how we go from this to, yeah, it's confusing, okay? But it's good. I'll probably put this, honestly, I will say the seasonal activity was kind of ass, actually. I didn't like that, actually. And the guns are kind of at mid, too. I'll put it actually low B. Let me stop playing. This is the most recent season. So, Into the Light is not on here, but I'm going to add it into the season, which means this is going to go S. Into the Light's not on here. I understand this might be cheating a little bit, but Into the Light, let's be real here. It's peak. We had Onslaught. We had fucking Legend Onslaught. You had Pantheon. You had the seasonal activity, which is actually pretty good. The Coil, I like Coil. Riven's Lair is good. The seasonal exotic. You had Dragon's Breath. Whisper came back and was craftable. Outbreak Perfect is craftable. We got 0 Hour back. We had Whisper the Worm back. Like I said, the 4 weeks of Pantheon. The God Slayer title. There's a lot of things. This is obviously, I'm talking about a lot more because this is literally fresh in my head. This DLC, this season just ended like fucking an hour ago. So yeah, but it's I love it, man. I'll put it out of all these seasons. It could be biased because it's recency bias. I don't really remember these, and but I will say, if you're gonna add Into the Light stuff with this season, it's S. You take it away from it, I'll put it right here with everything. But since Into the Light, isn't down here, I gotta add it, man. I gotta add it with that Season of the Wish. Technically, Into the Light is part of Season of the Wish. Technically, they're combined. They are one. If you want to separate it, by all means, you can put Into the Light as still, and I'll probably put that season to A or B. But combine it all, definitely S for sure. Definitely, probably the best $10 season out of all of these. It's not even close. Into the Light, gotta say, the best update we've gotten in fucking couple years. I'm not gonna lie. Love this season. Obviously, I'm sad it actually just ended. Sadly, Pantheon's gone, but still a W season. And another thing I wanted to add too is where would Final Shape be? Now, Final Shape obviously isn't out yet, so we don't know. But I gotta say, I would probably put an S, man. I gotta give Final Shape S, even though it's not out yet. I got a feeling it's gonna be a peak DLC, and I'm excited. It comes out and next day, guys. Tomorrow. That's when we're playing. We're gonna be hopping on. I hope you guys see you there. I'll be doing a live stream on it. I obviously probably won't get any views, but I'm gonna be live streaming this story. So spoilers. I'll be streaming it, but you can tune in if you really want to. But that's it for me, guys. I will say thanks for watching. This is definitely my list right here. Like I said, I feel like I'm happy with this list. I really don't want to change anything. A lot of the seasons are ranked because they're $10, like pretty well. Like the season of Worthy, like if this was $40, this would be like fucking Z or something. But I feel like some of these seasons are like ranked pretty properly. I can't really change much about them. I feel like I like them. I like them all. They're in good spots. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for me. We'll say thanks for watching. Let's see if this Destiny DLC is updated. Let's see. And after that, we are going to hop off. Let's see. I'm just interested. Are we gonna hear? Are we gonna actually be able to log in and see the new Final Shape sign? Let's see. And after that, we're gonna end the video. Sorry about that, guy. I'm gonna close this. Make sure it's actually viewable in the whole thing. Oh, here you go, Destiny. Oh my god. Only if you guys can see this. Hold on. There we go, baby. That's it. The Final Shape. There you go. There you guys have it. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and peace out.